Hello, everybody. My name is Christian Shaw. Welcome back to another exciting episode of the Becoming Bankable podcast. I'm sitting down with Vamsi Polimetla, founder of Make More Leaders. And I'm super excited for this podcast episode because it's the first time that I'm getting into one of my favorite subjects in life. A lot of times people ask me why are you so into business? Why do you love business so much? And I'm like, I don't really love business that much. I like it, but what I really love is self-improvement and personal development. And that's what I get every time I talk to you, Vamsi. Just personal growth is so important to me. So I'd love to just jump in and learn more about you and what you're doing and everything like that. So
Absolutely, Christian. Great to be here. Thank you for inviting me to this show. Excited.
yeah, for sure. Just to give you a quick introduction, Vamsi is formerly a software engineer, become leadership coach. He's currently the founder and CEO of Make More Leaders. And this is a personal leadership academy. Your mission is to help ambitious leaders to master their mindset, elevate their energy, and show them possibilities that they've never seen before, and to help them win big in their game, which I think is amazing. So welcome.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you.
So tell me, Vamsi, tell me a little bit about your origin story. How did you get into business for yourself? How did you make the jump from software engineer to entrepreneur, business owner?
Well, I did not start with intention of starting my business. My intention was I wanted to really get into air conditioning rooms. That is where like long ago, 25 years ago, I'm originally from India. And if you've been to India anytime, there are only like a three seasons in India: hot, hotter, hottest. Every day it's like really hot day. So all of my cousins, all of my friends are choosing fields like a mechanical engineering, civil engineering, and some electrical engineering. I thought like, okay, you know what? I really don't like spending time in the hot weather. How about I choose something where I can sit inside the air conditioning room? Computer science happened to be that. So that is how I got into. It was not my passion. That's not like I'm born whiz kid. I can solve any problem. My intention. I decided to stay away from the pain of staying in the warm weather to get into the nice weather. So that's how I started. I spent like almost 23 years solving the problems after like getting into the IT. I started really enjoying that. I started enjoying
Mm,
solving problems for other people, designing solutions, creating like a bigger systems to simplify a lot of complex things that are happening in various industries. I lived in Singapore for a couple of years, Christian, and then about 19 years ago, I moved to US, and since then I've been living here in the US. So in this my overall IT journey, I went from almost like a nothing to where I was in the corporate in like a very short time frame. And that journey, like I was reflecting back, and I said like, how about I create a process? How about I create a system to help other people to achieve what I achieved? That is where like all the coaching things started.
interesting.
Yeah. And after like spending some time, I decided like this is exactly like what I wanted to do for full time. And I created a program, and that program became like multiple programs. It's been like last 5, 6 years now, and I'm doing it full time. And this is like one of the best things that I did.
Wow. So take me back 5, 6 years ago. You had the idea like I like these building systems. I want to share this knowledge. I want to teach other people how to do this. Like, how did you first think like I want to do a business out of this?
So, if you are coming from the IT background, you are really good at creating systems for the corporate. And
Mm,
I was good at too. I was like a good designer, architect, and the manager. Then became like the leader in the IT space. But most important thing, the same design thinking concept we ignore in our personal growth, in our personal life. So I had an opportunity to spend a lot of time with the people who are really doing extraordinary thing in the corporate, like maybe senior vice presidents, like CIOs and CTOs. And when I observed them, when I studied them, I noticed that they're doing really good on their role, but everything behind the scenes, they're completely like doing opposite. They're not good in their health. They're not good in their like maybe the way they're thinking. They're not good with their relationship. They're not like a really living a life. And
Mm.
I asked myself because I was in a path to become one of them. Because if you hang out with too many days around the barber shop, eventually you get a haircut, right?
Yep.
So yeah, so the same way I thought like I don't want to become them. So what can I do? And at the same time, what I got was I was looking at my past 5, 10 years of recommendations from my managers and executives, and I noticed that every recommendation that I got it, somewhere it says that Vamsi, you are a great coach. That is one of your strengths. That gave me a confirmation. I think I really wanted to help because a lot of times, like when I get a yearly performance review, and in that, like say, because we are giving you this merit increase because you coach this many people and you help this person to overcome this challenge. And I just like compounded everything, and I asked myself, like, how about I do this outside of these four walls? Outside
Yeah.
this like a corporate, and that's like a pretty easy decision for me. I went out and started with the one client, and that one
Mm.
client was like really uh, super happy with the progress, and the client brought like more clients and the more clients and the more clients. At one point I had more people in the waiting list for my coaching program than I can serve. And ask myself, like, why I'm wasting my time spending 40, 50 hours in the corporate, where else I can go and serve these poor people.
Wow. Vamsi, what was your vision at the time when you first started your business, Make More Leaders, and how has it evolved since the 5, 6 years that you've been doing it?
To be honest, Christian, my vision was I was spending so much money on my personal growth. This is like a way back, like a 10, 12 years ago. I started investing into my personal growth. Like started putting money into my one-on-one coaching, going for courses, all these programs. And my first vision was if I earn a little bit money, so I can go to more programs. I can invest even more. At that point, like I was
Yes.
making really good money through corporate.
Yeah.
And after paying all the bills, feeding my kids, taking care of all the necessary things, whatever is remaining, instead of me investing into a stock market, I started putting
Mm.
back into myself. That I felt like that was giving me more results in terms of I was becoming a better human being. I was serving people more deeply, and also I was growing in my corporate career. And the next question is, how can I do it more? And I thought like maybe this coaching other clients or other people will give me this little bit of like money that I can go to more programs. So that is how like it started. I did not have a vision. I wanted to be like a Tony Robbins. I wanted to be, that was like, if I say that, like I said, I'm lying myself. No, I just wanted to get there. And that became like it's a routine. Every dollar I was putting there, I'm getting like maybe dollar 10 cents. Every $2 I'm putting, like getting $2.20. So compounded, I said like, okay, I think like there is a magic in this. How about I slow down here and create a roadmap? How about like I create a group coaching program where I can serve like a 20 people at a time versus me spending 20 hours on solving the same problem. So I experimented over the time. It's not just like a magic sauce or maybe a framework. I applied it and got it. A lot of experiments, a lot of like peaks and valleys in this journey.
Yeah. When did you make the decision to leave your corporate job and go full time? Like how did you make that determination? Was it a feeling? Was it a money dollar amount? Like how did you
It's
make that
not
transition?
it's not at all money. It's not at all a feeling. I felt like life is like experiments. I really wanted to go. I came from like very humble beginnings back in India. When I started my career, I used to make about $30 a month. And from that point, Christian, I made my first uh, big leap. I call this like a 100x jump. I just left India and went to Singapore, and my the next step was from $30 a month to $3,000 a month. Not only that, like everything changed in my life. The way I'm seeing things, the way my identity and my possibilities to change. So I was doing a lot of experiments throughout my life. This was like one of the experiments. I decided, like I say, I really wanted to try this because I see a lot of possibility of creating more leaders. And I already had like a success. I already saw the data. And the worst case scenario, you know what? I might have to go back to job. And
Mm,
that's like a confidence because it's not like I'm starting something new. I already had 23 years of success behind my background, and
right.
that way anyway I can go back to that old identity. But the best thing that happened to me was just switching off from the corporate and just like starting my new journey.
I love it. Amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah, because I feel like a lot of people have that inclination to do something themselves, especially in this modern day and age. People, they see social media, they see all these people making all this money, they have a passion within themselves, and they're not getting that fulfillment from their current jobs. Um, and they feel kind of trapped in that cycle. So I'm curious, what would you say for people who are, and perhaps this is what you do in your coaching programs as well. But how would you, like, if there's someone who wants to take that leap, who wants to go off and build their own business, what would you say for them as kind of like a word of advice?
absolutely. There are multiple steps that I can recommend for people who are watching this. First, understand where you are in the map. Don't just like do this because Kristen is doing this. Don't do that because Vamsi is saying this. First, understand where you are. Understand, like, identify what are the things that you really can uh, solve. Identify what are the things that gives you a lot of excitement, a lot of joy. First, identify those things. So, I'll always like say with a simple example. If you wanted to go to Manhattan, the directions from New Jersey are going to be a lot different than direction from Tennessee. You're saying you wanted to go to New York, Manhattan, but first you need to identify where you are. Are you in Tennessee or in New Jersey? If you're in
Yeah.
Jersey, it's easy to go. Take a train, go to Manhattan. If you're in Tennessee, it's a different plan. You need to maybe go to Chicago, take a flight, and go there. That's how you can go there, right? So first step, understand like where you are. Second step, have a clear like the next two three steps, like what exactly that you wanted to do and maybe say you wanted to start a new thought leadership business and start while you are already in the job. Don't quit your job. Just like us, get your hands dirty and see that is something that you really wanted to do it. For me, that was like a pretty obvious. When I was doing that on the weekends and Saturday, Sundays, and like evenings on the weekdays, I felt like I did not even spending any time. I was feeling like the time is really like a going fast while I'm having those conversations with potential clients and clients. I felt like, yeah, why I'm spending 40 hours on the things that I'm not really excited versus like a 10, 20 hours on the things that are really giving me the energy. So
Mm,
identify that. What is that you wanted to do? And then third one is like look who all are the other people doing what you wanted to do. If you wanted to go into the real estate, if you wanted to start some like maybe online business or coaching business or maybe a stock business, stock market trading or whatever that is, like look who else is doing that. And the best way to get there is start modeling. Proximity is like a superpower. You need to just like get into their proximity. You don't have to pay them if you cannot afford them. Start following their content and see like what are the things that I can model them. Maybe the way they are talking, the way they are producing the results, the way they are like exercising, the morning routine or like evening routine, whatever that you can start modeling it. So that way you create the same identity before you do that. And you do that for like maybe 3 4 months and see if that is something you wanted to just increase the dial. It's all about like increasing the dial. Say maybe go to your job and say, hey, I'm not taking the next promotion versus I wanted to go backwards because I'm working on something that really getting me energy. And if your manager or maybe your organization says that's absolutely fine, you can downgrade yourself before you completely like get quit your job and maybe do more of this. And at one point, you're good at numbers, you pull the plug. Yeah. So the points are first like understand where you are in the map, understand
Right.
like where you wanted to go, what gives you that excitement, and start modeling some people, and go slow, one step at a time. Maybe give
Yeah.
yourself like next 3 months, 6 months to play with this.
Yeah, I think that's a really important point, Vamsi, because like when people have that, oh, I want to start a business, it's like a big aspirational, pie in the sky goal that they're like, oh, I can never get there, because it seems like so much. But if you just look at the next step and the next step and kind of like map it out slowly but surely, those little steps can add up. So I really like that, what you said. So thank
Absolutely,
you.
absolutely.
Well, I think the crux of this conversation is really like personal development. Like I'm hearing from you, like you started going to these seminars, reading these books, studying these people. I think you said like years before you got into business for yourself. So could you tell me a little bit what was the how did you get into personal development, the self help section in the libraries, so to speak? How did you even stumble on that, and what's what impact has it made on your life?
Absolutely, absolutely. We all human beings, we act based on two things. One, to get away from the pain or trouble, or get towards a desire, or like maybe the bigger dream that we have. And it's
Mm,
very easy for us to say, "Hey, Vamsi is like pretty successful. You all had that pain." For me, I started this personal growth journey to get away from the trouble, get away from the pain that I had, and that pain became really really painful for me. I mean, like I'd say, like I really wanted to get out from the situation. So this happened almost like a 12, 13 years ago. I moved from my technology background into management background, and being a manager, uh, I had to present in front of like a bigger audience, and I failed miserably that day. And I
mm,
felt like I'm unfit. I'm almost like felt like I'm complete, like my worth, my identity feel like you are useless. You don't deserve this job. You better not show up like this anytime to in front of other people. While I was going through that, and I identified what was the one thing that made me do that. I had low confidence. I had like my communication was not that great, and I was not believing in myself. And at that point, like I realized, like if I improve these three things, I think I can do that. I started researching how can I get more confidence. I started like buying books. I started like buying audio programs. That is where my journey started with the Tony Robbins, Brendan Bouchard, Robin Sharma, many other successful mentors out there. Jim Rohn's audios was pretty. I followed. I used to travel every day. Travel means like I used to commute almost like a 60 to 70 minutes every single day one way to work. And I used to park my car and park and ride, take a bus. So throughout my bus ride, my audiobooks is my mantra. Everybody's like chatting about the politics, talking about the football game. I used to put my headphones on, just listen to
mm,
that and recondition myself. That is where it started. And I started like becoming a different person. Every cell in my body was feeling that, because I was not just listening to that same message once, I was listening to the same audiobook as many
mm.
times as possible until I completely like say this is done. I really wanted to get to the next book. So those things, even like sometimes when I'm sleeping, I used to put my headphones on and just like go to bed. My subconscious was listening to the message, and that's the beginning of it. Then I started like say, hey, this is so good. How about I can really meet Tony Robbins? And then
Mm.
I went to the Tony Robbins seminar. Then I went to I met like all these like mentors in this world in person, and started like working with them. I had an opportunity to spend almost like 15, 16 times with Tony Robbins. And
Wow,
yeah, yeah,
that's great.
it's not just like a one night thing. It's not happened with one pill. It's over the process.
Yeah. Yeah, you said something in the very beginning about you had pain, like extreme pain that you were dealing with, and that pain caused you to reflect inwards and say, you know, um, my communication skills. I didn't have the communication skills. You didn't have the belief in yourself. And I think that's point is so important because I know for myself, like I've experienced pain and I've been able to reflect on that pain and kind of like take inventory, take stock of why I'm experiencing that. I feel like a lot of times people experience pain and they don't want to experience it. So they numb themselves with alcohol or going out and partying or something else. But it seems like the pain plus the reflection equated to you taking control of that and making progress there. Would you
Absolutely,
agree?
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. This is exactly the quote that by Ray Dalio, pain plus reflection equal to progress. So if you're sitting in the pain and not reflecting, you're not progressing, you're still in the pain. Whereas like the reflection is the really, really key part. And
Mm,
the more you reflect and understand, like, what is this? Like maybe if I change one thing, everything will change. What is that? Like identifying that the core, and once we identify the core, everything else is pretty easy. Kristen, I always believe in this. Everything what is happening to us is a story playing inside of our head.
mm.
There is a story that is playing inside of our head. Maybe we stumbled multiple times in this podcast. If we keep that story in our mind, the rest of the podcast is completely disaster, right? Maybe it's a stumble multiple times in the life. If you keep the same story, you mess up your entire life. I stumbled and I decided I'm not going to play that story anymore. I stumbled in front of like a bigger audience. And because I start playing that story, I started believing that I'm going to be the number one in communication in front of any audience. Within like a 2.5 years from that incident that happened, I was in pain. 2.5 years later, I became the number one speaker in my organization. Became like one of the best. I got like a big reward for that, big recognition. And now I call myself like a speaker, yeah, helping a lot of speakers, a lot of like people to communicate better, a lot of C-level executives, right? So
Mm.
it's all like the story. Once we change the story, everything will changes. And that you don't need to spend years and years. That story can be changed right now in this moment. This is also one of the famous quote that I strongly, strongly believe. Success doesn't take time. Success takes courage. You need to have that courage to change the story that is playing inside of our mind.
I love that. That's beautiful. Tell me about your organization, Make More Leaders. Who do you guys serve? What do you help? Who do you target? Who's your target audience? And what do you help them accomplish?
Sure. We have multiple coaching programs, as I mentioned before. The number one thing, we help people to communicate better because that
Mm,
was my pain. And that's the reason, like, I started my business also. What all the pains that I had in my life, I was able to overcome. And if I can help other people to overcome those same pains, I think I'm going to be really, really successful because I been there on that mountain. I lived there. I know every single turn, every single down, everything like I know about that. So that way, that's how like we started. We are helping a lot of people to communicate better, whether it's in the corporate, whether it's in their like businesses. Without communication, the gap between anyone where they are and where they wanted to be, it's going to be very, very tough to reach there. So the first program is all about helping communication. The second program that we have for IT leaders. So this
mm,
recently we started this, and this is where like we are spending majority of the time, me and my business partners, building that IT leaders program. So a lot of people like me who came to US from India, and they're really really good at doing the technology things. They have no understanding what is possible if they can change the story that is playing inside of their mind, and this program is helping them to unleash their greatness inside of them. Everybody like travel 10,000 miles to be in this beautiful opportunity land. Now after reaching certain things, like maybe after buying a home, getting two cars into the garage, maybe sending kids to the school, they're thinking that, you know what, like I don't know what else I can do. Pretty much like they're leaving everything on the table and just like settling for pennies. So
yeah.
through this program, we are helping them to see what is possible for them, helping them to understand their purpose, what they wanted to achieve and how they can achieve, not like in the next 10 years, in the next maybe 6 to 12 months. So compress the
Mm,
time. That is the second program. And the third program I have, this is like a very limited people I invite. It's a called like a beyond program. So beyond anything that you are thinking about, you wanted to start a business, you wanted to scale your business, you wanted to take your business to the next $1 million. That is my program. And the prerequisite for that, like they have to go through one of the programs, so that way I know where they are, and so I can see if I can help them. So those are the
gotcha.
programs that I offer under Make More Leaders belt. And also recently this year, I got trademark and patent for my Make More Leaders, which is I'm super
Oh,
happy
nice.
about.
Oh, congratulations. That's amazing.
Thank you, thank
Let
you.
me kind of back up to the first and second program. I'd love to kind of like understand a little bit more about that. So you work with engineers, you said, or software developers primarily, who
Uh, the first program is for anyone who are in the process of improving their communication. This is for like leaders. It could be business owners, maybe coaches, consultants, or some financial advisors, real estate. It's pretty much open for everyone. And me and one of my
understood.
business partner, Brendan, we both run that program, and it's pretty successful. So far, we got like more than 100 really, really successful people gone through that program, and they got very good results. And the second program is only for IT people who are
Got it.
also Indians, immigrants living in the US.
Understood. Okay. Yeah. I'm just fascinated on that aspect. I have a lot of engineer friends, people who are coming from different countries and trying to discover the ropes and learn the ropes of corporate America. And they're very great at what they do. They're very knowledgeable. They read a lot of books. They're very skilled in their programming languages and their skill sets, but they have a hard time with the communication. And it's so funny because they have so much skill, but the gap is like they're not able to communicate their values to the marketplace, and I find that just so fascinating. So, what? How would you? Well, first, why would you say it's important for people to get better at their communication, and why is that such an emphasis in your programs and courses? What benefits do people have, like going through the communication course?
Yeah, communication is the link that is missing between where they are and where they want it to be. If you just like identify that, based on my personal study, based on my personal story, a lot of people spending hundreds of thousands of dollars to go to MBAs, and they're thinking that MBA or maybe completing that, like maybe the new program or new course is going to give them everything. But unfortunately, what they need is a stronger communication. They already have $1 million knowledge sitting between these 2 years, but they're
Right.
thinking something else from outside is going to change them. It's not. After spending like $100,000 on MBA and like maybe completing 3 4 years on a PhD, and they're still exactly where they are. Versus this program will help them to just position themselves better with their communication. You could be a developer, you could be a doctor, you could be a lawyer, you could be an entrepreneur. You all have exactly the same problem. We are not positioning ourselves better in the marketplace. If you just change that, you will be definitely better than anyone else with the better qualification on the paper, because nobody cares
Mm,
about the qualification, right? If
mm,
you can able to communicate, if you cannot communicate, even though you have all the knowledge, you've done like multiple PhDs, you're not going to be adding value to this. And Jim Rohn says this, like you're not getting paid based on the number of hours that you are working. You're getting paid based on the value that you are providing to the marketplace. And communication is the fastest way you can increase your value, no matter what you're doing. So that one. And second one, and we have a 90-minute free workshops every 2 weeks, which is completely
mm.
free. We trained almost like a 5,000 people from 30 plus different countries in those free workshop. And there is nothing there, I think, to sell in that workshop. We just deliver that because we feel that not everyone ready for our programs. So how can we just give them the value so that way they take it and run with that? I highly recommend. I'll share the link with you. You can put it in the show
Yeah,
notes. That free
please
workshop
do.
is
Yo,
like a game changer for people who wanted to experience what is the power of communication. Whether you work with us or not, it doesn't matter, but you give yourself a best gift of 90 minutes of pure communication and the power of it.
Yeah, thank you, Vamsi, and I'll post below on the show notes for the link for that. Vamsi, could you give us a little like taste or a little sampling of what we can expect? Like, what's if I'm someone who wants to improve my communication, what can I expect to get out of that 90-minute workshop?
Absolutely. This 90 minutes, we cover like so many things. There are certain tools, certain fun games that we play. Number one thing is visibility is profitability. Always
Mm,
remember this. Visibility is profitability. If Christian is so good at what he's doing and he got like a best knowledge in the world, if you're hiding in your basement or maybe in your apartment, how would world knows, right? Nobody knows
yeah.
about who Christian is, right? You have to start showing up. And we help people to how you can start showing up. And let's say you wrote a book, like say this is like maybe the best book that you ever create. And if this book is not in the bookshelves, how this is even like going to help you and other people, right? You don't want to be the best author in the world, Christian. You want it to be the best selling author. And in that is possible the moment you start showing up and the moment you start like positioning yourself, the moment you start communicating yourself, the moment you take out the duct tape that you're putting yourself, because you have such a beautiful image. No matter how valuable that image is, we are putting with the duct tape, people are seeing that, hey, it's not that worth it. The moment you reframe that with a beautiful frame, this is Christian, this is Vamsi, this is Brendan, this is uh, John, people are going to be seeing that your value. So a lot of tools, a lot of like 90 minutes is like a complete pure love and wisdom.
And it's free. It's a free workshop, you said,
It's
right?
completely free. Yeah, no charge. All you need to do is go to the website rockstarcommunicator.com. You can post the link down and just register there. And we have like 2 times a month.
Great. Awesome.
Yeah,
Well, I'd love to conclude the podcast and the interview with you, Vamsi. What's the future vision of Make More Leaders? Where do you see yourself and this program, this organization going towards?
absolutely. I have a macro vision and also micro vision. The macro vision is like really, really big. The micro vision that right now I'm working towards is like a help 1 million people through my
Mm,
messaging, through my communication, to see the possibilities that they are not seeing right now, whether through my podcast, through my video content, through my one-on-one coaching or group coaching programs, or some free workshops. So that's the goal that I'm working towards. And always remember this: if I can do that, this I came from like very humble beginnings with like English was not even my second language; it's my third language when I was in school.
mm.
You all can do that too. It's all like a start now, start where you are, and start before you're ready.
I have one other question, actually. Now that I remember, I
Sure,
completely
absolutely.
missed, but yeah. What book or course or mentor has changed your life the most in the past decade? I stole this from your LinkedIn. I saw this and I was like, wow, this is a great
Okay,
question.
absolutely, absolutely. I would say like a simple book everyone can read is The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari. This is going to
Mm,
give very clear understanding about where you are in the map. Most of the times we think we are somewhere, but after reading this book, you understand where you are in the map. And from that, you can decide the next step where you wanted to go. So, our common friend and coach, Benjamin Hardy, always says that all progress starts by telling the truth, right? You need to be really, really honest with yourself and acknowledge that this is where I'm in the map. And that's my book recommendation. And after that, like I have at least 1,000 other books in my library. I can give the big
right.
list. And the mentor
Yeah.
wise, I have like many mentors help me in many areas of my life. Tony Robbins has really helped me to uh, increase my energy and change my state and eliminate all the limiting beliefs that I had. And Robin Sharma showed me the path of leadership, like how I can become a better leader in the work and also at home. and yeah, many other marketing. I work with so many coaches, still like working. It's like a never-ending journey. That's like one of my core values and strengths. I'm always like a student first before anything else.
It's amazing to keep the student mentality even at your level of success and everything that you've done, to continue to say, I want to keep learning. I want to keep getting, you know, learning and failing and learning from others. So I think that's an amazing mindset to have.
Absolutely, absolutely, Christian. Always remember that economy class is always busy, and the business class is always like a seats are available. Choice is ours. You wanted to turn right or you wanted to turn left.
That's great. I feel like we could keep on about this personal growth and self development, and I'd love to have you on potentially in the future to learn more and catch up with you where you're at in the future.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you, Vamsi, and thank you everybody for listening. I'll link Vamsi and his organization down below in the show notes. You can check out his free live workshop and anything else, Vamsi, from you that you wanted to share before we end.
No, just keep believing in yourself and keep pushing your limits. Once you push your limits, then only you understand what you can expand. If you're sitting in the comfort zone, nothing grows there.
Perfectly said. Thank you, everybody. Take care.